Welcome back, and now it's time for the press digest, and we're very delighted to be having with us this morning our political analyst, Dr. Mostafa Tamam. Good morning, Dr. Mostafa. Happy Bayram. Happy late Bayram to you. Let's start off with the Shuruq newspaper, and we read, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi directed officials to launch a government portal for unified industrial investment map in September. The President met on Thursday with Prime Minister Mostafa Madbouli in the presence of Trade and Industry Minister Amr Nassar at the heads of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency and National Land Use Planning Center. Presidential spokesman Bassem Radi said the meeting focused over the new mechanism regulating industrial lands across the country. The meeting also tackled future visions adopted by state to develop industrial sector. Radi said President al-Sisi urged paying more attention to developing micro, small and medium enterprises to provide more jobs and boost economic and social safety networks. The President also called for setting up more integrated industrial cities to boost industry. Madbouli updated the President over efforts exerted by the government to remove hurdles facing industrial investors, an outcome of the Coordinating Council for Industrial Areas. Dr. Tamam, how do you see the government's efforts to be able to upgrade the industrial investment map that is upcoming in this winter?
Well, I think from this what we see that in the past we have been neglecting the industrial sector very much, and this has been reflected that we have 4,000 factories that are closed, unfortunately, until now, you see, because due to the lack of human resources and lack of technical personnel. So again, this is a very good gesture, but we need to have two additional factors in order to succeed in this domain. The first one certainly is giving importance to vocational training and industrial training and technical training, and encouraging people to go into this domain, because we have a dramatic shortage of technicians all over Egypt. So this is the first thing. The second thing, and it was mentioned here, is to remove any barriers for probably licenses, procedures in order to erect a project, industrial project. You see, there are a lot of bureaucratic barriers that probably cause that the delay in these projects. So certainly in order to remove the bureaucracy is very, very important. And this certainly is easy, very easy. You see, if we have a procedure and the one window shop, you see, that we had.
The one-stop shop?
You know, what you had in the investment law, certainly we can have something, a sort of a similar mechanism that would probably help the industrialists in order to encourage them to come back and work into Egypt. The third thing, which is very important also, is education. You see, we have to concentrate on education. We are concentrating, unfortunately, on the university education. We are neglecting the technical training. You remember we had the Mubarak Call gesture, which was very good. I don't know what happened with it, but I think we have to take similar initiatives in order to encourage people to go into this sector, because we have a real shortage of technicians. Finally, again, it will be the general investment climate in Egypt should be encouraging in order to attract not only Egyptian investors, foreign investors, because we need to produce quality products. Again, this will have an impact on the foreign currency demand. Certainly, if I produce high quality products for the markets, they'll be replacing the foreign products that are available, and people will be going to Egyptian high quality products instead of importing products from abroad. Second thing also is seeing what the market needs. We have to see what are the needs of the market. Certainly this is very, very important. If we make a market study to see what we need, and especially in the small scale enterprises, which constitute 60% of the economy. Again, these projects, the small scale, we should provide assistance and advice to them in order that these might grow one day and become giant companies, you see, so to encourage them to expand. So these are the main factors that would encourage industrial performance in Egypt.
We move on to our second item, and it comes from Al-Masri Al-Yawm, and we read, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi issued a presidential decree approving an agreement between Egypt and European Investment Bank on developing the first line of Cairo Metro. Under the agreement, the bank will lend Egypt 350 million euros to develop carriages of the first line. The agreement was linked in December of 2018. The decree was published in the Gazette out Thursday.
This is, you see, this is something very important. Unfortunately,
of course,
we don't have the concept of maintenance. You see, in Egypt here, where we start maintaining things when things fall apart completely. We don't have the methodology of having a work plan in order to maintain things. So probably this is a very, very important thing, because certainly the first line, Cairo Metro line, is a strategic transportation method that ties up from the north of Cairo to the south of Cairo, from Marg to Helwan, and carries millions of passengers a day. Again, I would like to emphasize something very important, that we have to have a maintenance program in order to maintain the other lines. You see, the second and the third line, which are now operating, you see, because if you don't have a proper maintenance system, things will fall apart, you see, suddenly, and you'll be paying a lot. You see, the reason for that we'll be paying millions of euros, because the maintenance has been neglected since a long time ago. So certainly we have to have a certain methodology in order to maintain these mega projects. Again, the metro is considered a very, very important method of transportation. Certainly it causes, it reduces pollution, it saves fuel. You see, if you have an efficient metro system, and we are under the project of constructing a large network now. We have several lines, and we have the electric train, which is going to, the monorail, which is going to connect the new city, the new capital city, to the 6th of October. All these projects are very, very important, but maintenance is a crucial element in the success of these projects to be on an ongoing way. Because in this case, if things fall apart, you might be paying a lot of money in order to re-maintain them again. So we have to have a certain methodology, and there are workbooks, you see, procedures. As in your car, you have to change the oil after certain kilometers, you have to do this and this and this.
There is annual maintenance.
Annual maintenance and probably monthly maintenance. I'm not an expert in these domains, but there are procedures that we have to follow in order to maintain, and because this is a very, very important way to use to transport. You see millions of citizens use now the metro, and it's expected by having the third and the second and the monorail, we'll have probably a great number of population which will be using this and be depending on this. So we cannot afford having a fall apart in this system.
And from Al-Ahram online, we read, the Ministry of Electricity stressed that the country's national project for peaceful uses of nuclear energy at the Dabha nuclear power plant is constructed according to the state-of-art technologies and the highest levels of safety measures adopted worldwide. The ministry said in a statement to Al-Ahram newspaper on Thursday that a comprehensive review process of all documents related to issuance of project's license was undergoing in cooperation with International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna. The ministry stated the construction permission had not been granted by IAEA yet, stressing that current phase required a great compliance to accuracy, as a large number of documents was being revised before obtaining all licenses and permissions related to the construction of Al Dabha nuclear power plant. Of course, establishing and being finished with a power plant inside Egypt. I mean, this power plant have been a project, an ongoing project for a long time.
Right.
But taking this very positive and vital steps right now, just like everything else that was taken, that the new Suez Canal, like the new administrative capital, like the
electricity projects.
Of course, all the mega projects that were executed in no time, the roads, right, the infrastructure. Of course, as usual, it's a pride to Egypt.
I'd like to add something very important to this.
Right.
Well, probably we should adhere in this project to the importance of the safety factor, you see, because safety is very, very important in this domain. And there are certain countries which have suffered problems from not adhering to safety procedures in this respect. So certainly we should be aware very much about the safety measures in order that we have this project to succeed. The other thing is, which is very important, these type of projects will certainly reduce the demand, not reduce the demand, will have increasing the capacity of our electricity here in Egypt. You see, we have a surplus, we have already a surplus now. So certainly having this will be able for Egypt to export our energy to countries which are neighboring countries to us, so generating foreign currency. But again, as I mentioned, safety is very, very important, and I hope that the government will be adhering to strict safety procedures in erecting this project. It's very important, and training the people on safety measures and safety procedures, that's very, very important again.
And from Al Shuru newspaper we read, Egypt Air on Thursday announced that it has operated 5 flights to bring home 900 Egyptian pilgrims from Saudi Arabia after performing the Hajj Islamic Greater Pilgrimage rituals. On Wednesday, the national flag carrier began an airlift to transfer more than 70,000 Egyptian pilgrims on board of 424 flights. The company said it will operate 224 flights to the Saudi airport of Jeddah and 200 flights to Medina airport to bring home all Egyptian pilgrims.
This is certainly, we had a lot of success stories with Egypt, you see, handling this issue, the pilgrimage issue. Since a long time ago, they've been doing very well because it's quite an organized company now. Due to the fact that it's allied to the Star Alliance you see, group, which adheres to certain procedures that you have to follow in order to be, and there'll be inspections on maintenance of the planes, on the type of planes, and all procedures and all that, the flight procedures, safety and all that. So certainly they're quite reliable now by joining the Star Alliance, and you see, this is evidence that they're going to, in a short time span, transport 70,000 Egyptians in a very short time span, probably in time span of 2 weeks. They're going to move 70,000, and this is not something easy to handle, you know. So certainly, but they have experience, a lot of great old experiences in this domain, because they've been doing this for years and years.
True. And from Al Ahram newspaper we read, African giants Egypt have qualified for semi-finals for the 2019 Men's Youth World Championship for the first time of their history, with a confident win over Iceland 35-31 on Thursday in Jane Sandanski Arena. Although Egypt have won the title at the U20 tournament in 1993 on home soil, the U19 team never managed to get past the quarterfinals, and their best result was at the 2007 and 2011 World Youth Championship when they placed 5th. And we're going to go to a quick report featuring this victory, and we'll come back to you. African giants Egypt have qualified for the semi-finals for the 2019 Men's Youth World Championship for the first time in their history, with a confident win over Iceland 35-31 on Thursday in Jane Sandanski Arena. Egypt had a very successful campaign thus far in tournament, having won 4 out of their 5 group stage games against Sweden, Chinese, Taipei, Canada and Hungary, and have suffered just 1 narrow defeat to defending champions France. They then beat Slovenia in the round for 16, 30-23 scoreline. Egypt were dominating the first half and managed to finish on top with a 21-14 score. However, the second half started differently, as Iceland were able to assert their superiority with a 17-14 lead, which wasn't enough as they still suffered the 35-31 defeat. Egypt will now face Portugal in the tournament semi-finals on Saturday, August 17. If they are to win, they will face with either Denmark or Germany in the final. Although Egypt had won the title at the U20 tournament in 1993 on home soil, the U19 team have never managed to get past the quarterfinals, and their best result was at 2007-2011 World Youth Championship when they placed 5th. The young Pharaohs will hope to go further than their elders, who clinched the bronze in July in the 2019 Men's U21 World Championship. And I guess with this final item, we come to the end of the press digest for this morning. And before we go, we have to thank our prominent guest, Friday morning guest, Dr. Mostafa.
Thank you. Yeah.
You have a beautiful day. Thank you very much for coming. And we're going to go to a short break and we'll come to resume the breakfast show, so stay with us.